The whole Liam Kumar Day effect, not really happening.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I rang up Mendon all, he said he could make it.
Don't dig this hole. Phil, credit to the guy, he always manages to do well what he has to. He is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No.
It was pre-vim.
No, my life from Rashad Mendon.
Right, you go. I'm a tag, Jack! I'm a fucking tag!
Hello and welcome to the LOC report. As you can see, I am on my own today, but there is a very good reason for that. And that reason is, of course, because it is the LOC, the Great LOC Quiz. Yep, I have put together a quiz all about the LOC for all of you to have a go at, and hopefully you're all playing along and on Hangouts together. But even if you're not, or even doing this later, because like I say, I am doing this in a way that you can do this on your own later and let us know how you do. I hope you have a great time doing it. But this is a semi-normal podcast, at least to begin with anyway, so we are going to begin with some league news. So, yep, league news. I did announce earlier there is indeed breaking news, and there is, because I am now pleased to announce that Coach Merritt has informed me he will be returning to the LOC for another season. This will be his 12th year in the league, still seeking that first title. He would have hoped it would have been last year, and it could have been last year had he beaten Chris, but it wasn't, so he will be back for another year. And as we previewed on the draft reveal show, Phil, whenever he is drafted in the spot he is now, I believe 9th, he has had a good season, so the stars could be aligning for him this upcoming season. So just to reiterate, Phil will be returning for his 12th LOC season as the head coach of the Tugfards. We of course had the AGM last Sunday, which from my point of view was a great success. We had some great discussion, reaffirmed a lot of the decisions we made in last year's AGM. We'll talk more about it in the AGM recap next week. But you know, last year we made quite a few changes. We modified the waiver system, and we of course introduced the new Superflex format, and we decided to keep all that. So that's a good sign that we did something right. So no much was changed there. We added a point for kickers for 40 to 49 yard field goals only, and we've also set the playoff structure for when the NFL adds another game to their season. So like I say, me and Chris will cover that next week in the AGM recap podcast. But then after that, each podcast after that, we're going to do one a week. We'll be covering the Hall of Fame nominations. We have received all of the nominations from the coaches that gave it to me anyway. All those articles are written, so we will not only be providing you with a article this year, but also a podcast about all of them as well. Just checking I've got my audio. I do, that's good. So look out for those as well. I don't know what the order is yet. It's going to be a surprise each week. And then finally, of course, the most important thing to reiterate, the draft. Every year, make sure you're free, or you can be, you know, even in a cafe like Phil was last year. Saturday, the 29th of August is the draft day. Do not double book yourself. Please do make it if you can. So that is all of the league news I have for now. No other stuff in this podcast, so we are going to go straight to the quiz. I can see the comments on YouTube. If you do want to comment along, please do, but obviously do not post your answers in there, at least not until we get to the answers bit of the quiz anyway. I will explain each round as we get to it, but it's fairly straightforward. 43 questions, 4 rounds. One of the rounds is going to be a little different just than question and answer, but we'll cover that when we get to it. So I can see 6 people are here. If you could just comment on YouTube or in the Facebook group if you are ready to start, and we can get going. And if you can hear me and everything as well, of course, that's generally helpful for a quiz and a podcast. I'm going to be needing this too. I can only assume I'm on a delay as I've had no comments yet, so the interaction of this podcast may be interesting. As I said as well, while I hear from these guys, if they're ready to get going. If you are watching this at a future time, not live, like I say, do the quiz in the same way. Ben's ready. Thank you, Ben. Do the quiz in the same way. Just follow it through. Don't obviously jump ahead and look at the answers. Don't use any of the history materials while you're doing the quiz. That's not allowed. And there will be a bit that I say is a little bit different. So whenever you are, Shakira, just message me your answers to that. All will make sense when we get to the round. And whoever's watching this live actually will be the same. But anyway, Ben's ready. I'm going to assume everyone else can hear me and is ready. So we'll just get going. So the first round of this LOC quiz is through the years. Okay, so we've got a question about each year of the LOC. Okay, so that's obviously 11 years so far. So 11 questions. So, question number 1, 2009. 2 teams tied in the first season of the LOC. The only tie to ever happen in the LOC. But which 2 teams or which 2 coaches tied? Point. You need to get both to get a point for this one. So 2 teams tied in the first season of the LOC. The only tie to ever happen in the LOC history. Which 2 coaches or teams, either one, tied? Like I say, comment along as well if you want to, but please do not post the answers in the chat or anywhere else. Alright, question number 2, 2010. So the 2010 season was one of the closest seasons ever in terms of playoff race. How many teams finished with an 8-6 record? So the 2010 season was one of the closest seasons ever in terms of the playoff race. How many teams in the regular season finished with an 8-6 record? Okay, 2011. So in 2011, 3 teams joined the LOC, ADRZ, the Dream Team, and Touchdown Syndrome. But which of these teams did best in their first season? So 3 teams joined in 2011, ADRZ, the Dream Team, and Touchdown Syndrome. Which of these teams had a best first season in terms of their record? Just let me know if I'm going too quickly. I'm trying to pace it, but aware I'm just sat here silently as well. So just comment or let me know. Okay. Question 4. 2012. Tom's Tyrants became only the second team ever to have a 13-1 regular season record, which has also not happened since 2012. They would lose in the playoffs in the first round. But which team was the only team to beat them that season? So there's a little clue there. This team beat them both in the regular season and in the playoffs. So Tom's Tyrants became only the second team ever to have a 13-1 regular season record, which has not happened since. They would lose in the playoffs in the first round, but which team was the only team to beat them that season in the regular season and the playoffs? Same team. Okay, so question 5, this is 2013. So the infamous stat change gate cost Bare Necessities a win against Forward Flyers in 2013, turning a 120 to 115 point victory into a 114 to 115 point loss. Which quarterback caused Bare Necessities to lose the game? So which quarterback, which player who was a victim of the stat change cost Bare Necessities to cost them the game? So just saying that again, the infamous stat change gate cost Bare Necessities a win against Forward Flyers in 2013, turning a 120 to 115 victory into a 114 to 115 loss. Which quarterback caused them to lose this game? I will have to total at the end how many points are up for grabs as well, since I haven't actually counted through. Like I say, there's a bit of a funny round, but we'll figure that out when we get to it. Okay, so that was 2013. So now question number 6, 2014. Tom's Tyrants famously scored the 2 highest weekly scores ever back-to-back in weeks 13 and weeks 14 of 2014. But which of those weeks did they have the highest score? So I'm looking for, you got a 50-50 chance at this one. Week 13 or week 14 was when they had those 2 incredible weeks. Which of those weeks was highest? Thomas Torrance famously scored 2 highest weekly scores ever back-to-back in weeks 13 and 14 of 2014, but which of those weeks they have the highest score? Week 13 or week 14? So 2015, this is question number 7. After losing an ill-fated bet in 2014, which English football player's logo, as in what did Forge Flyers use for their team logo in that 2015 season? So just to read that again. After losing an ill-fated bet in 2014, Forge Flyers used which English football player's logo as their logo for the 2015 season? That one's probably pretty easy. Out of all of these, you should probably be getting that one. Okay, question 8, 2016. In 2016, the league's second newest member joined the league, Ollie Gardner. Which player was the very first pick of Coach Gardner's career? So, 2016, Ollie Gardner joined the league, second newest now that we've got Mike. Which player did he pick with his very first draft pick of his career? Okay, 2017. So, question number 9. After losing the forfeit playoffs in 2016, the Tugfards had to make a rather unfortunate team name change for the 2017 season. What was their team name that season? And again, you should probably get this one too, if you've been paying any attention through the years. So question 9, 2017. After losing the forfeit playoffs in 2016, the Tugfards had to make a rather unfortunate team name change for the 2017 season. What was their team name that season? Question number 10, 2018. So 2018 would see the worst start to an LOC season of any team in history, a feat accomplished by Gridiron Gang. Yay. How many games did they lose before finally winning a game? So in 2018, we would see the worst start to an LOC season in out of any team in the history of the league, a feat accomplished by me. How many games did I lose before I finally won a game? And amazingly still managed to avoid the worst record of all time. That was number 10. So question 11 now. 2019. One division held the top 4 lowest scored against teams in 2019, all of which conceding 1,252 points or lower. The lowest of which being 1,079. And for comparison, one division didn't have a team less than 1,310. What position conceded the least amount of points in 2019? So just to read that again. One division held the top 4 lowest scored against teams in 2019, all of which conceding 1,252 points or less, with the lowest being 1,079. For comparison, in another division, no team had less than 1,310. Which division conceded the least amount of points? Okay, so those were all the questions for round 1. I'll just give a second for each of you to finish up, and I'll move on in a second. We'll come back and do all the answers at the end. Okay, so the next round is Corona Bowls. So, a question again, 11 questions, each about a Corona Bowl. Or each of the Corona Bowls. So, question 1, Corona Bowl 1. Bare Necessities famously went 15-1 in the LOC's debut season, en route to winning the first Corona Bowl. But which team was the only team to beat Bare Necessities that season? So, just to read that again. Bare Necessities famously went 15-1 in the LOC's debut season, en route to winning the first Corona Bowl. But which team was the only team to beat Bare Necessities that season? Okay, question number 2. I see I have 9 viewers now. That's nice. That's good. So, Corona Bowl 2. Tom Brady led Gridiron Gang to their first title in 2010. But which humorous AFC quarterback backed up Brady on Gridiron Gang that season? So, there's a clue in the question there. So, in Corona Bowl 2, Tom Brady led Gridiron Gang to their first title in 2010. But which humorous AFC quarterback backed up Brady on Gridiron Gang that season? Okay, question number 3, Corona Bowl 3. Corona Bowl 3 marked the first Corona Bowl with a rookie division team, Tom's Tyrants, who would win the Corona Bowl that year. Which team did they beat in the first round of the playoffs to get there? Was it A, this is multiple choice, was it A, Forge Flyers, B, ADRZ, or C, the Tuckvards? So, Corona Bowl 3 marked the first time a team would win the Corona Bowl. That was a team from the rookie division would win the Corona Bowl. And that was Tom's Tyrants. But which team did they beat in the first round of the playoffs to get there? Was it A, Forge Flyers, B, ADRZ, or C, the Tuckvards? Alright. Question 4, Corona Bowl 4. The only team in LOC history to have a mid-season coaching change went on to win the Corona Bowl 4, the real QB. What was their record in the 10 games they coached that season, including the playoffs? Again, this is multiple choice. So was it A, 3-7, B, 4-6, C, 5-5, or D, 6-4? So the only team in LOC history to have a mid-season coaching change went on to win Corona Bowl 4. That team was the real QB. Started off as touchdown syndrome. What was their record in the 10 games that they coached, though, including the playoffs? So was it A, 3-7, B, 4-6, C, 5-5, or D, 6-4? And again, just comment if you need any clarification or need me to reread or anything or whatever. On YouTube or in the chat. Alright, question 5, Corona Bowl 5. The Detonators simply destroyed the league in 2013 en route to a victory in Corona Bowl 5, mainly due to the arm of Peyton Manning. But which round did the Detonators draft Manning in? In the draft, of course. So, the Detonators simply destroyed the league in 2013 en route to a victory in Corona Bowl 5, mainly due to the arm of Peyton Manning. Which round did the Detonators draft Manning in the LOC draft that year? Question 6, Corona Bowl 6. To top off Tom's Tyrants' momentous comeback to make the playoffs, they won Corona Bowl 6 in nail-biting fashion. How many points separated Tom's Tyrants and the Dream Team at the final whistle? Was it A, 2.26 points, B, 3.26 points, C, 4.26 points, or D, 5.26 points? So to top off Tom's Tyrants' momentous comeback to make the playoffs, they won Corona Bowl 6 in nail-biting fashion. How many points separated Tom's Tyrants and the Dream Team at the final whistle? A, 2.26, B, 3.26, C, 4.26, or D, 5.26? Okay, question number 7, Corona Bowl 7. Corona Bowl 7 marked the start of an incredible run and rivalry between ADRZ and Ixan. How many Corona Bowls have each of them appeared in? Okay. So Corona Bowl 6 marked the start of an incredible run and rivalry between ADRZ and Ixan. How many Corona Bowls have each of them appeared in? So that's not for example, if they both appeared in the same one, that's one. That would be two because they each appeared in it, right? So how many Corona Bowl appearances between them do they have? Okay, question 8. Corona Bowl 8. Ixan and ADRZ faced off again in Corona Bowl 6, but the two shared something else in common that season. Their record. What was their regular season record that season? So in Corona Bowl 8, question 8. Ixan and ADRZ faced off again in Corona Bowl 8, but the two shared something else in common that season. Their regular season record. What was their regular season record? So just to come back to that, Ben. So for question 7, how many Corona Bowls have? It's total. So so I've appeared in 2, for example, but I've appeared in one with Tom as well. So if that was the question for Gridiron Gang and Tom's Tyrants, Tom's appeared in 3, I think. So the answer would be 5. Even though we shared one, we both made. I made 2, he made 3, so the answer would be 5. So for ADRZ and Ixan, what is their total number of appearances each in the Corona Bowl? But if you want to specify per person, then you'd get to the right answer as well. Okay, question number 9, Corona Bowl 9. After years of agony, Forge Flyers finally got to hoist the Corona Bowl for the first time in team history. Which unlikely QB guided them to victory in Corona Bowl 9? So, question number 9. After years of agony, Forge Flyers finally got to hoist the first Corona Bowl in team history. Which unlikely QB guided them to victory in Corona Bowl 9? Okay, question number 10. Corona Bowl 10. To end the first decade of the LOC, Tom's Tyrants had a chance to crown themselves the first dynasty of the LOC with the third Corona Bowl win, but narrowly lost, in the process creating the only other two-time champion except them at the time. The Detonators. What amount of points separated the two sides in Corona Bowl 10? Is it A, 0.1, B, 0.2, C, 0.3, or D, 0.4? So to end the first decade of the LOC, Tom's Tyrants had a chance to crown themselves the first dynasty of the LOC with the third Corona Bowl win, but narrowly lost, in the process creating the only other two-time champion except them at the time, the Detonators. What amount of points separated the two sides in Corona Bowl 10? A, 0.1, B, 0.2, C, 0.3, or D, 0.4? Okay, question number 11. Corona Bowl 11, it's the last one of the round. After yet another great season in the LOC, regular season winning Ixan's team ran out of steam at the worst possible time, effectively handing Forge Flyers the title. Which two key players were Ixan missing in Corona Bowl 11? So after yet another great season in the LOC, regular season winning Ixan's team ran out of steam at the worst possible time, effectively handing Forge Flyers the title. Which two key players were Ixan missing in Corona Bowl 11? Okay, so that's the end of round 2. Like I say, if you need me to repeat anything or clarify anything, just shout. Otherwise, I'm just going to mosey on to the next round. So the next round is all time. So this is questions about all time in the LOC, but I think I've tried to make it fairly easy. Question number 1. Gridiron Gang famously loves to churn the roster, making a record-breaking grand total of 90 roster moves in 2019. What is the second highest ever amount of roster transaction in a season? And just to give you a hint, because that is a very broad question, it is a round number, i.e. it ends in a 0, so it's not 90, because I did that last season, and that was the highest, so I've narrowed it down for you, basically. So, Gridiron Gang famously loves to churn the roster, making a record-breaking grand total of 90 roster moves in 2019. What is the second highest ever amount of roster transactions in a season? And the number ends in 0. Okay, question number 2. There is one coach who owns 4 out of the 11 highest scoring weeks in a given season. Which coach is it? So just to clarify that, obviously each season there will be a highest scoring team in a week. That is on the almanac if you've ever looked at that. One team has appeared on that 4 times, i.e. 4 seasons they've had the highest scoring team in a week. So which coach is that? Or which team? Either's fine. Okay, question number 3. One player has scored the highest amount of points in a week in a given season 4 times in their LOC career. Which player is it? It's a similar question, but this time I'm asking for a specific player in a specific week. So, one player has scored the highest amount of points in a week in a given season 4 times in their LOC career. Which player is it? So if Drew Brees scored 50 points, for example, in 2011, and then and that was the highest, and again in 2015 he was the highest, that would be 2, and obviously I'd be looking for Drew Brees. Hint, it's not Drew Brees. Okay, question number 4. Name the 2 active coaches that have 1 or less losing seasons in their career. So that's seasons where they've only won 6 games or less. So there are 2 coaches that I'm looking for. You need both for a point here. That have 1 or less losing season in their career. And that's seasons where they've only won 6 games or less. Which 2 coaches is that? I don't know if I specified, but they're active as well, so you know everyone who's active. So which 2 active coaches? Question 5. How many coaches have retired from the LOC? Not including Ross, who returned. So we all know there's some coaches that have left us. How many have retired from the LOC but haven't returned? Okay. Question number 6. So according to the accolades are, all the titles, playoff appearances, division wins, Corona Bowl wins, appearances, yada yada yada. Each one of those things counts as 1. So according to the accolades, which coach is the most decorated coach in LOC history? So which coach has the most accolades on that accolades sheet? According to the accolades, which coach is the most decorated coach in LOC history? So far, at least. Okay. Question number 7. Which coach owns the record for the most amount of playoff appearances? Right, nice easy one for you there. So, which coach owns the record for the most amount of playoff appearances? Okay, question number 8. In 2016, a coach won the Overachiever Award, and in 2017, despite having a worse season, they won the Luck Award. Which coach was this? So in 2016, a coach won the Overachiever Award, and in 2017, despite having a worse season, they won the Luck Award. Which coach was this? Okay, question number 9. Among active coaches, which coach has the worst career winning record, including playoffs? I'm looking for a percentage here. So not in terms of the highest amount of losses, in terms of winning percentage, okay? So obviously if you went 7-7 and it was your first season, the percentage would be 50%. So among active coaches, which coach has the worst career winning record, including playoffs? Question number 10. Only one coach active in the LOC has a losing record in the regular season, but a winning record in the playoffs. Which coach is this? So only one active coach in the LOC has a losing record in the regular season, but a winning record in the playoffs. Which coach is this? I think I got that right. I don't think I'm going crazy. If it's 2, I will accept the other correct answer. No, there's only one. Not going crazy. Okay, question 11. Ignoring teams that have never won a playoff game, so any coach that has won one or more playoff games, sorry, who owns the worst career playoff record? So similar to the other question, but I'm just talking strictly about playoff record now. So ignoring teams who have never won a playoff game, who owns the worst career playoff record? Hello. Still doing the quiz. Sorry. You did 10. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay, so that was the last question of round 3 all time. I'll just give a second if anyone needs me to repeat or clarify any of those. Okay, so this is the final round, so round 4, and this round is best and worst draft picks, and you're gonna have to guess the player, of course. But so how this round's gonna operate, instead of a simple question and answer, just for I appreciate that the stream might be on a bit of a lag or something as well. So basically, I'm gonna give you a series of clues, okay? So you have, I think, 3 clues I will give about a player. After each clue, I want you to write a player's name. I think this is going to work okay. If you get it correct on clue 1, you get 3 points. If you get it incorrect, don't worry. And then if you put the same or a different player in for clue 2, if you get that right, you get 2 points. If you get that wrong, don't worry. And then obviously on the third and final clue, if you write down the player and you get it right, you get a point. If you don't, you don't get anything. So as long as you've written, in order, no cheating either. Obviously, write down after I've read each clue about the player. If you get it right on the first clue, you get 3 points, even if you change your answer later on. Or, obviously if you write the same name all 3, you still only get 3 points. So there's a max of 3 points for each question. If you get it on the first clue, you get the 3 points. If you get it on the second clue, 2 points. On the third clue, 1 point. Okay? What was round 2, question 11? So round 2, question 11. So that was Corona Bowls. So 2019, one division held. Oh, sorry, no, that was round 1. Question 11, round 2, Ben. Corona Bowl 11. After yet another great season in the LOC, regular season winning Ixan's team ran out of steam at the worst possible time. effectively handing Forge Flyers the title. Which 2 key players were Ixan missing in Corona Bowl 11? That's question 11. Okay, so just doing the best and worst draft picks round now, so this will hopefully make sense. As I said, I'm going to give you 3 clues. If you get it right on the first clue, 3 points. Second clue, 2 points. Third clue, 1 point. I'm not going to wait for you to message in or whatever, so just write down after each clue I give you who you think it is. If you get it right in the first one, you get 3, even if you've put a different answer around in clue 2 or clue 3, if you got it right first. But obviously, if you put the same player for all 3, you still would only get that maximum 3 points. You can't double dip. So this is effectively out of 30. Okay, so if this doesn't make sense, again, message on here or message me, even if this isn't live, and I'll explain. So let's just go with question number 1. Hopefully it will make sense. Should have got an example in hindsight. Never mind. So 2010. So we're going through the years again. 10 questions. Clue number 1. This player was drafted with pick 10 of the 2010 draft, and his name appears in the intro of the LOC Report podcast. So clue number 1 for question number 1. This player was drafted with pick 10 of the 2010 draft, and his name appears in the intro of the LOC Report podcast. So now you should write down your guess who you think that is. Clue number 2. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what you get. So clue number 2, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't have to message me, Ben. Don't worry. Just wait till the answers, because I appreciate people aren't doing this live. So I'm not going to tell you if that's right or not. So just to explain how this round's going to work again. 3 clues. Just write who you think it is after each round. You can be the same. It can be different if you want to do it tactically or whatever. If you get it on clue 1, you'll get 3 points. If you get it on clue 2, 2 points. Clue 3, 1 point. Obviously nothing if you don't get it right at all. Okay, clue number 3. He fumbled the ball in Super Bowl 45, which led to the game-winning drive for Green Bay. So this player fumbled the ball in Super Bowl 45, which led to the game-winning drive for Green Bay. And just to make this easy, I will start giving answers after each of these, otherwise it's going to be a nightmare to figure out at the end. So, final clue for this player, he fumbled the ball in Super Bowl 45, which led to the game-winning drive for Green Bay. Okay, so you should hopefully now have 3 names written down, one after clue 1, clue 2, and clue 3. If you wrote Rashard Mendenhall for clue number 1, you get 3 points. If you didn't write him there, but you wrote him in clue number 2, you get 2 points. If you didn't write him there, but you wrote him after clue 3, you get 1 point. Doesn't matter if you put him in that first clue and then change your answer in another, as the higher one takes precedence. If that makes sense. Hopefully. So, Ben, in your case, since you did message me too, no, you did not get the first 2 right. I don't know if you wrote his name on the 3rd clue. If you did, you'd get a point. If not, zip. Okay, question number 2, 2011. So, this player was drafted with the 19th pick of the 2011 draft, but did not play a single snap in the 2011 season. So clue number 1 for question number 2. This player was drafted with the 19th pick of the 2011 draft, but did not play a single snap in the 2011 season. Write down who you think it is. Okay, clue number 2. He was drafted by the Dream Team while Coach Nathwani was on holiday in California. So I've given you the team. This player was drafted by the Dream Team while Coach Nathwani was on holiday in California. May have been skydiving at the time of the draft. Can't be determined. write down a player next to clue 2. Can be the same or different, like I say. Finally, clue number 3. He played for the Indianapolis Colts at the time. So, he played for the Indianapolis Colts at the time. Strictly, I guess he didn't actually play that year, but he was an Indianapolis Colts player then. So, write down a player. If, after clue number 1, you wrote Peyton Manning, you get 3 points. If you didn't get number 1 right, but you wrote it after clue 2, you get 2 points. If you didn't get the first 2, if you didn't put him down for the first 2, but you put him down after clue 3, you get 1 point. Is this making sense? Hopefully it's making sense. Ben, please comment and tell me it's making sense. 7 of you are watching. Come on, not one of you can message me. Gah. Tough crowd. Right, question number 3. So 2012. I was drafted with the 35th pick of the 2012 draft by Ixan. And I was a tight end. So clue number 1 for question number 3. I was drafted with the 35th pick of the 2012 draft by Ixan, and I was a tight end. Write down a player. Question number 2. This player was in a dynamic duo with another tight end. So this player played with another dynamic tight end, and they formed quite the duo. That's clue number 2. Write down a player. And then finally, it's really clear. Cool. Thank you, Ben. I'll stop being so deliberate. So clue number 3. He was the feature of a recent Netflix documentary about him. So he was the feature of a recent Netflix documentary about him. Give you a second to write down a player. If you've not already got it. Don't know how easy or hard I made these. So Alright, so after clue number 1, if you wrote Aaron Hernandez, you get 3 points. If you didn't get it at clue 1, but you wrote his name after clue 2, you get 2. And if you didn't get it right for the first 2, if you got it after clue 3, you get a point. Okay. Question number 4. So that was Aaron Hernandez. Question number 4, 2013. So, this player was drafted with the first overall pick of the 2013 draft, and he is one of the only wide receivers to ever go with the first pick of the draft. So, clue number 1 for question 4. This player was drafted with the first overall pick of the 2013 draft. He is one of the only wide receivers to ever go with the first pick of the draft. Write down a player. Clue number 2. He has since retired. He no longer plays in the NFL. And hasn't done for at least 2 or 3 years, I think. So he is retired, does no longer play in the NFL. And clue number 3. When he did play, he played for the Detroit Lions. So clue number 3. He played for the Detroit Lions. Write down a player. So, after clue 1, if you wrote Calvin Johnson, you get 3 points. If you wrote Calvin Johnson after clue 2, but didn't get it right in clue 1, you get 2. If you didn't get it right on the first 2 clues, but you got it right in clue 3, you get a point. Alright, question number 5, 2014. This player was drafted with the 141st pick of the 2014 draft. I think this is part of it. He played for the Chicago Bears. So, clue number 1 of question number 5. This player was drafted with the 141st pick of the 2014 draft, and he played for the Chicago Bears. Clue number 2. He would finish his career by playing for Miami. So, clue number 2 for question number 5 is he would finish his career by playing for Miami. And clue number 3, he had a nickname which was Smokin', followed by his name. So if it was me, it would be Smokin' Nathan. So his nickname was Smokin', followed by his name. Actually, you typically say the whole name, so if it was me, it would be Smokin' Nathan Stubbs. So the clue is his nickname was Smokin', followed by his full name. If you got Jay Cutler on clue number 1, you get 3 points. If you didn't get it right there, but you got him on clue number 2, 2 points. And if you didn't get him right the first 2 clues, but you got Jay Cutler for the 3rd clue, 1 point. Smokin' Jay Cutler. Yeah, we all remember him. Just got divorced from his wife, actually. Kind of sad. But also entirely not surprising. Question number 6, 2015. So this player was drafted with the 46th pick of the 2015 draft, and he was over the age of 30. I'm afraid that's all you're getting. So this player was drafted with the 46th pick of the 2015 draft, and he was aged over 30. This is question number 6. Clue number 2. He had only ever played for one team before this season, which was the Houston Texans. So clue number 2. He had only ever played for one team before this season, 2015, which was the Houston Texans. So that was his old team. And clue number 3. He was famously drafted only 2 rounds after a player on the same team in the same position. And I'm going to give you the coach that did it by Coach Merritt. So clue number 3 is he was famously drafted only 2 rounds after a player on the same team in the same position by Coach Merritt. If you got Andre Johnson on clue 1, you get 3 points. If you didn't get him for clue 1, but you did for clue 2, you get 2. If you didn't get him for the first 2, but you got him on the last one, you get 1 point. Andre Johnson. And that's probably one of the funniest moments of the LOC draft. And it's even more spectacular that, like everyone expected, it did not work. Question number 7, 2016. This player was drafted, so clue number 1, this player was drafted with the 25th pick of the 2016 draft by Ross. So Coach Nunn of the... Can't actually... Well, we'll get to that in a second. So, clue number 1, this player was drafted with the 25th pick of the 2016 draft by Ross. This is question number 7. Clue number 2. Ross named his team after this player for the duration of the 2016 season. So, clue number 2, Ross named this his team after this player for the duration of the 2016 season. I don't know why I've left the mirroring stream up of me this whole thing. I meant to leave that up. But oh well. Whoopsie daisy. Don't want to present that either particularly. And clue number 3, this player now plays for a team in the NFC South. So, clue number 3, this player now plays for a team in the LOC South. If, after clue number 1, you got Tom Brady, you get 3 points. If you didn't get him there, but you got him after question 2, you get 2. If you got him on the final clue, you get 1. Tom Brady. Of course I was going to get Tom Brady in there at some point. Bastard. Right, question 8, 2017. This player, so this is the first clue, this player was drafted with the 57th, clue number 1, 2017. This player was drafted with the 52nd pick of the 2017 draft, and he plays in the NFC. You can probably sense a theme here. These players are either mega famous or kind of cult heroes in our league for another reason. So an added hint. Maybe I should have said that at the start, but you've got this far, you've probably figured it out. So, clue number 1, this player was drafted with the 52nd pick in the 2017 draft, and he plays in the NFC. Clue number 2, he has only appeared in one Super Bowl in his career. So, think about, you know, I don't know how good your Super Bowl history is, but this player's only ever played in one of them. Clue number 3, I know some of this is hard, but some of them are going to just get guessed instantly, and some, hopefully by the third one, most of you should get them. So the third clue for question number 8 is this player's principally played for one team in the LOC. I'm not going to give you that team. Am I going to give you that team? Yeah, go on. It's Ixan. This player has principally played for Ixan in the LOC. So after clue number 1, if you got Larry Fitzgerald, you get 3 points. If you didn't get him there, but you got him in number 2, you also get 2 points. Not an additional, don't know why I said also. So if you got him at clue number 2, but not clue number 1, you get 2 points and no more. If you didn't get him on the first 2, but you got him on clue number 3, you get 1 point. Larry Fitzgerald. So the penultimate question of this quiz, question number 9, 2018. Great time to cough. This player, clue number 1, this player was drafted with the 89th pick of the 2018 draft, and he plays tight end. So clue number 1, this player was drafted with the 89th pick of the 2018 draft, and he plays tight end. Well done, Ben. Of course you were going to get that one. Come on. Clue number 2. He has only played for one team his whole career. So this tight end has only ever played for one team his whole career. And that's inclusive of now. He's still on the same team as well. And this is the Colt that I was mentioning a few minutes ago. Clue number 3. He won the 2012 Pro Bowl MVP. That very pristine, renowned award. Clue number 3. He won the 2012 Pro Bowl MVP. Which is a stat that Coach Leach likes to bring up routinely. So after clue number 1, if you put Carl Rudolph, you get 3 points. If you didn't put him there, and you put him after number 2, you get 2 points. And if you put him after clue 3, you get 1 point. Carl Rudolph. Finally, 2019. This player was drafted with the 86th pick of the 2019 draft, but finished the season on a different LOC team. So clue number 1, this player was drafted with the 86th pick of the 2019 draft, but finished the season on a different LOC team. Clue number 2. He was injured during the season and missed a number of games. So clue number 2. He was injured during the season and missed a number of games. Okay, clue number 3. Ross named his team after this player. And of course Ross's theme last year was films. So the film he used to name his team after this player was You, Me and Dupree. Okay? So clue number 3, Ross named his team after this player using the film as inspiration, You, Me and Dupree, with Owen Wilson and I don't remember who else was in it. Just Owen Wilson. Maybe Jennifer Aniston? Who knows? Okay, so if after clue 1 you put Drew Brees, you get 3 points. If you put him after clue 2 but not after clue 1, you get 2 points. And if you remember that Ross's team name was You, Me and Drew Brees, after clue 3 you get 1 point. So that round is obviously out of 30. I know the initial clues probably weren't that helpful, but we at least know Ben got one of the 3 points. So, okay, so you obviously have the totals for 4th round. So now we'll go back and give the answers through to the other round. So going back to round 1, through the years was the round. So question 1, 2009, was I asked you which 2 teams participated in the only tie in the LEC history. It was Gridiron Gang and I can't remember what Ross's team was. English Football is better, I think. But if you put Nathan and Ross or Coach Stubbs Jr. and Coach Nunn or whatever, you get a point. So that was Nathan and Ross. Question 2, I wanted to know how many teams finished with an 8-6 record in the 2010 season. It was 5 teams. 5 teams, crazy, had an 8-6 record in the 2010 season. Question 3, 3 teams joined in the LEC that year, ADLZ, the Dream Team and Touchdown Syndrome. I just wanted to know which of those coaches did best, or teams did best. The team that did best was Niger's ADLZ. I think they went 7-7, but they obviously sprung out to a great start and slid back. Question number 4, 2012. I wanted to know who the Tom's Tyrants went 13-1 that season, but lost in the first round of the playoffs. I wanted to know which team was the only team to beat him. That team was the real QB, the team that won it. I guess I didn't mention it then. Massive hint. Obviously, there were only 3 playoff teams other than Tom, so that did narrow it down. So if you put the real QB, you got that one. Beat him in the regular season as well. Question number 5. I wanted to know which player in the stat change game cost bare necessities a win against Chris. Now, if you did scrub up on the history or whatever, it would actually show you something wrong. For some reason, it shows you Russell Wilson, but it was in fact Joe Flacco throwing a backwards pass to Ray Rice, which cost bare necessities that game. So the answer was Joe Flacco. Question number 6. Tom's Tyrants had 2 of the highest scores ever back-to-back in weeks 13 and 14. I just wanted you to tell me which of those weeks was higher. And it was week 13. He did the highest one first, which made the second one a bit of a disappointment, really, didn't it? So week 13, he scored 205.88 points. The only 200-plus week in the history of the league. Question number 7, in 2015. So after losing a bet, Chris had to use the logo of this English football player for the 2015 season. And of course it was James Milner. How could you forget? Question 8. I wanted to know what the first pick of Coach Gardner's career was. The first player he picked was Ezekiel Elliott. Question number 9. The Tuckfarts had to change their name in 2017 as they lost their forfeit playoffs. And they changed. I wanted to know what their team name became that season. And it was Tanky McTankface. Great name. Don't know why he changed it back. 2018, question number 10. I wanted you to tell me how many games Gridiron Gang lost before they finally won a game. This was the worst start to a season ever. I lost 9 games to open the 2018 season. Somehow finished 3-11. But the answer was 9. I lost 9 games. And the last one of the round, question 11 for 2019. One division had the lowest 4 scored against teams last year. And that division was the Southampton division. So they, as a group, conceded the least amount of points. Crazy. Okay, so if you need me to circle back, if you missed an answer or whatever, just comment or message me. Even if this isn't live, I will look at my phone. So round number 2, answers round number 2, which was about Corona Bowls. So question number 1, Corona Bowl 1. Ben Necessities went 15-1, winning the title in the first season. I wanted to know what team they lost to, and it was Moi, of course. How poetic that his own son would beat him. So Gridiron Gang beat Ben Necessities in that season. Question number 2, Corona Bowl 2. I wanted you to tell me who the backup was behind Tom Brady on my Corona Bowl winning team. And I gave you the hint that it was a humorous AFC quarterback. The reason it was humorous was because he was the one that committed the butt fumble a few years later. It was Mark Sanchez. So you get a point if you put Mark Sanchez. Question number 3, Corona Bowl 3. So this was the first time a rookie division team would win it. I wanted you to tell me who Tom beat in the first round of the playoffs. And this was multiple choice, so it was either Forge Flyers, ADRZ, or the Tuck Fards. And it was the Tuck Fards. Obviously, building what we now know is their historically bad run in the playoffs. The Tuck Fards. Corona Bowl 4. So I wanted you to tell me what Coach Simpson, the head coach of the Royal QB, he took over mid-season. I wanted you to tell me what his record was after taking over. It was either 3-7, which was A, B 4-6, C 5-5, or D 6-4. He went 500. It was answer C, 5-5. Question number 5, Corona Bowl 5. I wanted you to tell me which round the Detonators drafted Peyton Manning in that year. It was round 5. The reason this one made the quiz was because most of you, hopefully, will recall the hilarity of Phil berating Ollie for drafting him in round 5, despite taking Drew Brees in round 1. Curious decision. Question 6, Corona Bowl 6. I wanted you to tell me how much points separated title winner Tom's Tyrants and the Dream Team in the Corona Bowl. I gave you the option of A, 2.26, B, 3.26, C, 4.26, or D, 5.26, and the answer was A, 2.26 points, which was then the closest Corona Bowl ever. So the answer was A, 2.26. Question 7, Corona Bowl 7. I wanted you to tell me how many Corona Bowls ADRZ and Ixan have appeared in each combined, if that makes sense. So the total appearances between them. So the total appearances between them are 6. They've both appeared in 3. So if you put 3 for both of them, or you put a total number of 6, you got it right. All of which since 2014 as well, which is pretty mad. Question 8, Corona Bowl 8. So Ixan and ADRZ obviously faced off again in that Corona Bowl, and I wanted you to tell me what else they had in common that year. Well, I told you that the regular season record is what they had in common, but I wanted you to tell me what that record was. They went 8-6. More 8-6 after the other question, which was about 8-6 teams. Question number 9, Corona Bowl 9. So, Forge Flyers won their first Corona Bowl after those years of agony. I wanted you to tell me which unlikely QB guided them to victory. And of course, it is Jags' favourite, now LA backup, I think, still, Blake Bortles. So if you put Blake Bortles for question number 9, you got it right. Question number 10, Corona Bowl 10. Tom's Tyrants obviously had a chance to cement their dynasty if they could win the game. Which would have been their 3rd title, but they lost, creating another 2-time champion in the Detonators. I wanted you to tell me how many points separated them in that game. I gave you the option of A, 0.1, B, 0.2, C, 0.3, or D, 0.4. If you put C, 0.3 points, you got it right. Ridiculously close, and Philip Lindsay just about did it for the Detonators before he injured his wrist. Question number 11, Corona Bowl 11. So I wanted you to tell me which 2 key players Ixan were missing in Corona Bowl 11, which pretty much cost them the Corona Bowl. If you put Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry, you got it right. They were missing Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry through injury for the most important game of the season, and it did sting. So obviously those 2 rounds were out of 11. And the third round, which I'll give you the answer for now, also out of 11. So these were all time questions. So I wanted you to tell me, Gridiron Gang has the highest amount of roster transactions in the season at 90. So that's adds and drops and trades. I wanted you to tell me what the second highest amount ever was. If you put 80, you got it right. And this was in 2010, so it's ridiculous that that's not been broken since we all obviously pay a lot more attention now. And it wasn't even me, it was my dad. Ben Acestes did it that year. So 80 was the answer to question 1 in round 3. Question 2, I told you there is one coach that has 4 out of the 11 highest scoring weeks in a given season. That coach was Ollie Burdett. Ollie has had the highest scoring week in a season 4 times, which is pretty crazy. And question number 3, I also said that a player in the NFL in our league has appeared, had the highest scoring week of a player that was played in a given season 4 times, and that player was Aaron Rodgers. He has obviously had some ridiculous games through the years. Question number 4. I wanted you to tell me the 2 active coaches that have 1 or less losing seasons in their career. Active coaches, remember, where they've won 6 games, and a losing season is where they've won 6 games or less. So this one was a little bit tricky of a red herring. One of these teams is Ben, of course, but the other was Mike, because he only just joined last year, and he went 7-7. So in fact, out of the active coaches, he's never had a losing season, which nobody else can say. He has only been in the league for a year, though. Question 5. I wanted you to tell me how many coaches have retired from the league, without returning, so that obviously excludes Ross. 6 coaches have retired from the LOC, so if you put 6, you got that right, and just in case you're interested in who they are, was obviously Nige, who retired last year, Jake, who managed the real QB after Alex Fugard wasn't playing in the same season. They both retired. Stu retired after the, I think, 2nd year of the league, maybe. And Ashley Cook, I think his name was, left in 2010. And also Charles when he was running Jeff Seals, so 6. Question number 7. I wanted you to tell me which coach has the record for the amount of playoff appearances. It is Phil with 6. He was tied up until this season because I think Nige had now matched him. I think that might have been more than a 2-way tie. But with his playoff appearance last year, he now stands alone with 6. So if you put Phil, you got that right. Question 8. In 2016, a coach won the Overachiever Award, but in 2017, despite having a worse season, they won the Luck Award. I wanted you to tell me which coach that was, and it was Coach Gardner, of now kicking team names fame. Question 9. I wanted you to tell me which active coach had the worst career winning record, including playoffs, in terms of percent. And if you put me, first of all, fuck you, it's Pat. I've done very badly in some seasons, of course, and my percentage is below 500, but Pat has the worst winning percentage of his whole career, regular season and playoffs. I didn't note down what that was, but you can go check it out on the links on the Facebook page. Question number 10. Only one coach, active coach in the LOC, has a losing record in the regular season but a winning record in the playoffs. I wanted you to tell me who that was. And it's Chris. Chris is 76-78 in the regular season, but 4-1 in the playoffs. Pretty crazy. Because he won 2 this year. And the 2 the year before, and he lost in 2011. So if you put Chris for question 10, you got that right. And finally, Question 11. Ignoring teams who have never won a playoff game. I wanted you to... So a coach that has won one or more playoff games. I wanted you to tell me it was the worst career playoff record. And that was Viv. Viv is 1-5 in the playoffs. 16.7% winning percentage. Ben, you've asked if I missed a question. It would be helpful if you could point me towards which question I may have missed. Did I give an answer to a question that I didn't read? Well, while he's typing that out, I have read out all the answers, so you could have, in rounds 1-3, you could get a maximum of 33, and then obviously in the fourth round, which was the drafted player round, 6, 7, 8. Have you missed a question? 6, 7, 8. As in the all-time round, in round 3. Oh, yes, excuse me. No, I didn't. No. Oh, I did miss question 6, actually. Thank you. So, circling back, question 6, which was, according to the accolades, which coach is the most decorated coach in LOC history? That was Tom. He has 22 accolades, according to that sheet. So that was question 6 of round 3. And then question 7 was the one about Phil. Question... which was the question amount of playoff appearances. Question 8 was who won the Overachiever Award one year and then won the Luck Award next year. The answer was Ollie Gardner. And then question 9, active coaches which had the worst career winning record, including playoffs. That was Pat. Question 10 of round 3. There's one coach that has a winning record in the playoffs but a losing record in the regular season, and that's Chris. And question 11, ignoring teams who have never won a playoff game, who owns the worst career playoff record, and that is Viv at 1-5. So hopefully, sorry I skipped question 6 there, which was Tom as the most decorated coach at the moment with 22 accolades to his name. So as I said, this quiz is basically out of 63, with rounds 1-3 being worth 1 each, and then... Yep, cheers, Ben. And then a maximum of 30 available in round 4, which was guess the player. So let me know how you did, please. Like I said, there is a slim chance that this could be used for the division lining event results, in case we aren't able to do what Chris wants to do. Most importantly, I hope you had fun. I appreciate if you're newer in the league, it's going to be a bit more difficult. Certainly if you don't pay as much attention to the NFL as I do, which is a lot. It might have been hard, or even the LOC. But I hope you had fun at any rate. Like I said, we will be back with another podcast next week. Before I sign off, I will read out some people's scores. I've just got Pat's. I'll wait for... I know Ben will post his, hopefully. And a few more, hopefully. So... early doors, it looks like I made this quite hard. Apologies, guys. So Pat got 17, Ben got 18, so Ben is the leader in the clubhouse at the moment. I can see there's 3 other people watching this video. One of them may be me, so I won't hang around too long. But like I say, please do message your results whenever you do this. I'll be interested to know. Sorry, Ben and Pat. Apparently I did make this fairly hard. Oh, Tom, here we go. He's put his in. Tom got 38, I believe. That's a pretty good score, Tom. I'm keen to look through what answers you got right and wrong. He posted that up on the group, so you can go look at that yourself. You fucked the all-time round. Yes. A little bit. Anyway, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the Great LOC Quiz. We'll be back next week with the AGM recap in our normal style. Until then, have a good rest of your week, which is like every other day of every week right now, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.